Hello and welcome to Mountie Mick's Death Rate. Very dramatic title for the Commodore 64. A game from 1987, and when I bought it, it was a mid-range price game. It was difficult to say. Roughly equivalent to about £10 in English money. And I was actually quite happy with my purchase. It looks a bit simple. The sound is nothing spectacular, but it does what it needs to do. Of course, the soundtrack is quite decent, but of course, overall, a defining thing of a game has to be gameplay. Is it fun to play? And Mountie Mick's Death Rate is definitely fun to play. Frustrating, agonizing, but fun to play. The game has 9 trains that you need to navigate by going from one end to the other, and the game being complete. Auto-scrolling would be a nightmare for your average speedrunner, but each individual train, well, not each individual train, the first few trains, they add a new mechanic that you have to navigate. On the first train, it's the bad guys, that's the main obstacles. On the second train, you will see for yourself, there will be some lamppost-like things which dangerously close to the train line, but I suppose there's one. If you are on the top level, you have to duck in order to avoid being killed by it. Nothing too challenging. My opinion of this game was quite high until shortly after recording this video. We'll get to that in due time, but after recording this video, or the footage for this video even, I decided, you know what, I can do this, I can beat this game. Just take the time, just suffer the agony and beat the game. I couldn't beat the game, and it wasn't because I couldn't beat the difficulty of the game. You will see for yourself. Onwards to train 3. As soon as we get to the front locomotive and the handcar, and up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's not naughty. And you start getting welcoming committees when you reach the later trains. Oops, that was a bit naughty. These bombs, they're not really doing much. The only advantage is that you can drop them down from a high ledge, which can be important much later in the game. But that is not relevant for the video footage I've got here. The mechanic added to the third train is dead ends, as you can see. Those cars on the train car, you can't get past them. And I'm not going to spoil it, I'm just going to wait for it, but yeah. When you play the game enough, it's very easy to just remember, okay, I need to be on a high level now. And of course, the third train also adds these jumps, which has to be spot on, or you will drop down and will have to hit the S key, which is the suicide key. The game has a suicide key because you can find yourself getting trapped. Nothing much more to say about this level, it's just going from the back of the train to the front of the train. Mick himself, of course, he's got his gun, limited ammunition, as you can see down the bottom right corner. And because he's a big bulky lad, he can jump on enemies in order to knock them out, kill them, whatever. Thankfully they don't have the same ability, or the game could be even more fun than it is. You get a full ammunition refill when you connect with a new train, and it remembers ammunition pickups, so even though it doesn't display more than you can currently see on the screen, it will still remember if you pick up extra ammunition, which is a nice touch. As a lot of games, they would just, oh, you spend one bullet, here's a refill, or waste it. But I think it resets the ammunition when you get to a new train, that's why you get a full reload. I could be mistaken on that point, I haven't really paid much attention to it. What we just picked up there was a gas mask, and that is an indication of the mechanic on train 4. That refinery car is leaking, and that is rather poisonous for Mick. Bad guys don't care about it. They must be used to sniffing it, I don't know. But the problem with gas masks is the fact, that was rather rude. The problem with the gas masks is the fact that they are one-use items. So, that was a bit dumb. Yeah. So we get sent all the way back to the beginning of the train. That is how the checkpoint system works. I will get back to the gas mask in a second. The checkpoint system. Once you pass a certain amount of cars, you will respawn from that point if you die. If you pass multiple checkpoints and you get sent back to one checkpoint by dying, and you die immediately after, you will be sent back to the previous checkpoint, meaning that you can very quickly get sent quite far back. Anyway, regarding the gas mask, as I was saying, it's a one-use item, and as long as it's active, you are protected against the poison leaking thing. But in this case, it would have been tempting to disable the gas mask, because of course you move at half speed when you got the gas mask equipped, and there are sections where you have to move quite far wearing the gas mask, because there's no other gas mask further down the train. It will give you new gas masks for major sections, but it doesn't give you one per leaking car, so it's just knowing that it's coming up, which is a bit painful, because with the checkpoint system being as it is, and the enemies being completely random in their aggression, it could be a bit annoying. So, next use of the gas mask. But we are far from done. Tunnels is another thing that's you have to face, which makes everything dark, obviously. And you can probably see at the bottom of the screen there's a flashlight. That does not become relevant before train 6, I think, maybe 5. I didn't pay particular attention to it, because my frustration point that it hit me was rather disheartening. But onwards to train 5. If you look at the bottom of the screen as well, you can see the cars of the train, and of course the trains get longer for each train you reach. The mechanic added on train 5 will become apparent very shortly. A guy in a speedboat thing shooting at you, just have to duck to avoid it. And that is the mechanic for train 5. Cowboys in either boats or vehicles will try to shoot you, and I failed to jump there. I'll blame my controller, it's a bit wonky. So, try again. And of course, as you get to the later trains, the different mechanics will be added together. So, you get a gentle introduction of each of them, or gentle and gentle, and then it starts piling them on. So, I can see there's about 1 minute 50 left of this video. When I decided to sit down and beat the game, I spent a few hours getting used to the different trains and getting used to the mechanics. Okay, you can never get used to the bad guys because they're so random. And as I got further on with the trains, I started to notice that the game started becoming obviously a bit more difficult. The difficulty is definitely the randomness, because you can anticipate the other things by getting used to them, but you cannot get used to what the bad guys are doing. Sometimes you are forced to jump, and then the bad guy comes on screen and shoots you while you're mid-air. There's no chance to avoid it, there's nothing to do about it, you just have to accept getting shot. And as we got further down the trains, I just started to realize that it becomes more and more cheap. Not difficult, but cheap. Like you are trapped in a corner and forced to jump, and there's a bad guy waiting for you to jump, and if you don't jump, you get killed from going off screen. Marvelous. So, I was happy at that point when I did this high score. And then we got to the good part. After a handful of hours of agitation, I reached train 7, and there's something missing. Can't get up at all. And to show you that it is actually possible getting up from the other side of the vehicles, but you can't get up from the back, and there's no indication of anything missing, and I've checked and done everything I could, but yeah, well, that was a black mark against this rather decent game, which is sad. So, bye bye for now, take care and all that good stuff.